What is up, guys? You got NotTheWorst here, bringing another Black Desert online video, and today we're taking a look at the continuation of upcoming PvE buffs. We saw some more added to the Global Labs after KR getting some tweaks to the last Global Labs patch as it went live on their servers with the damage and some cooldown and HP recovery type changes going in. We're now moving into the Phase 2, and starting that off this week on the Global Lab, we saw a revamp of how add-ons work across the board. This just looks to be overall extremely more fair with how they're going to flesh out add-ons and how they work, so there won't be some classes slated to just having way better access to buffs through add-ons than others. And here's how that's going to work. So when this does go live, how it will be is the add-on tiers are going to be altered, and tiers now result in a different duration of the amount of time that it lasts rather than the amounts of that stat change. Okay, and I'll go into specifics of what that means. So if we take a look at the monster AP, for instance, current state, we have a 10, 20, and 30 monster AP add-on. You get that buff for 7 seconds at any tier, and the amount of that AP buff is based on the tier. So your tier 1s give 10, your tier 2s give 20, and your tier 3s give 30. From now on, it's going to be all tier level of add-ons will give the same amount, the maximum amount. Okay, so we can see future state of monster AP. It's going to be plus 30 no matter what tier add-on you have. The difference of the skill being tiered is what the duration of that buff is. Okay, so you could totally run this on a tier 1 skill, no problem, and you're going to get the same AP as a class that has access to like 5 tier 3s. Maybe your Suck DK, where you have 1 tier 3 add-on and it has a 20-second cooldown on top of that, so you basically don't have access to tier 3 add-ons for the most part. Well, now you do, because you can stick them on any skill as far as the amount. It's just going to be the duration that changes that, which is pretty huge. To further change this, what defines a tier 1, 2, or 3 add-on is no longer an arbitrary thing that was just decided by PA, where they're like, hey, this one's a tier 3, but this one's not, and whatever. It's no longer arbitrary. It's just going to be straightforward. So a tier 1 is now going to be defined by a skill with a 5-second cooldown or less. A tier 2 will be skills that have a 5-second cooldown, 5 seconds or greater, but it's less than 13 seconds. Or a skill that has a cooldown that is more than 13 seconds, but it's currently on cooldown. So if you have some skill that can be used on cooldown, but it's more than 13 seconds, it'll be a tier 2 add-on that is applied. If it is off cooldown, skills used with a cooldown of 13 seconds or more are now considered tier 3. So that is how that's going to work moving forward, giving everybody the same amount of buffs. You don't have to do things like we were talking about on stream the other day. Someone was trying to calculate their total AP because you want to have a minimum of 950 total AP for that zone. So they're pulling up their stat sheet and they're like, well, I play Woos. I'm like, well, you got to make sure you have all of your buffs applied, trying to figure out what your total AP you're running. And then also Wusa has 20 AP self buff, and also you can easily keep up a plus 30 monster AP at all times. And then if we use the DK example earlier, you can't do that. So when you're trying to set up your AP there, if you're running the 1 tier 3 skill that has a 20-second cooldown, you have 7 seconds of uptime of a 30 monster AP, and most likely you're just going to be calcing at 20 monster AP. We don't have to do that moving forward. Everybody will be able to use the same numbers. It's just a matter of the duration. A couple of other things that I did note that are actually the same as before, but just something to think about when you're trying to start mapping out add-ons. Lower tier add-ons cannot overwrite or refresh a higher tier add-on. That's the same as it is today. It just has different impact because of the way that the skills work. So rotations are definitely going to get altered from this, and I fully expect us to continue to see more changes coming to the Global Labs in the next couple of weeks, where rotations are probably going to be nothing like they are today for probably every class, but we'll see. So that does remain the same. If you have a tier 1 add-on, or you put a let's say you lead off with a tier 3 and it does have a very long cooldown or something like that, and you go to refresh it later in your rotation, it has to be another tier 3 to be able to refresh it, or that add-on has to have ended in order for a tier 2 or tier 1 to be able to be applied with the same effect. So you'll never be able to refresh or get rid of that tier 3 duration without using another tier 3. So something to think about. Just kind of off the top of my head, I can foresee a lot of tier 2s just kind of reigning supreme here. The duration of the tier 2s is plenty, and it also makes it so that you have plenty of access to other skills to not kind of screw up how your rotation is. But, you know, every class is different and how it works is different. Furthermore, the durations for these, and I did map out them, are broken up based on how they defined different types of them. So I gave examples of what those durations are so that you can kind of get an idea, or actually not even an idea, you'll know exactly one. So the duration, the 7, 12, and 20 duration applies to stat improvement types. So that's plus monster AP, like in the example we have. That's going to be plus human AP. Does it call it human damage in the game? It does. It's human AP, but human damage, critical hit rate, attack and casting speed, movement speed, and accuracy. So your bonus ones there are all going to be applied to these same durations. Again, these are all at tier 3 amounts. So accuracy, for instance, in current iteration, tier 1 is 3% for 7 seconds, then 4%, and then 5% at tier 3. And the new iteration, it's going to be all at that tier 3 value. So it'd be 5% accuracy on any tier. It's just the duration that changes. So 5% for either 7, 12, or 20 seconds. So that's the stat improvement type. Then for the what they call the damage increase types, it's down attack, back attack, critical hit damage, and air attack damage. So these ones are all going to have the duration tier 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be 5 seconds, 7 seconds, and 10 seconds. So you can see based on the add-on type, they're not all just going to be 7, 12, and 20. It's just these specific ones. Stat improvements are following those guidelines. The damage increase types have their own duration types. But again, all from now on are at the current tier 3 values, just different durations. The defensive types, which are plus evasion and the plus DP stats, just those two, it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and 25 seconds. On paper, that seems awesome for evasion. Well, apparently we don't spell it right, and this is an evasion. Someone's playing hash over here. Sounds huge to me. That's what she said. For a 25-second duration off of a tier 3 for that, we'll see how that maps out long term. Obviously, these things are going to have PvP implications. PA's noted this several times while they're working on these PvE buffs. They know that that's going to be the case, which is why they intend to do PvP buffs as soon as they've completed all their PvEs. So there's more than likely going to be some amount of time where some PvP things are kind of broken or at least completely imbalanced. Time will tell as these come out. We then have the stat reduction type, which is minus DP, minus human damage, minus evasion, or minus accuracy. Duration for these are going to be 7 seconds, 10 seconds, and 12 seconds respectively. Then we have the speed reduction types, which are attack cast speed and movement speed, just those two there. And that's going to be for 4 seconds, 7 seconds, and 10 seconds duration on those. Then we have the other ones that aren't actually just the same. Why did I map this one out all three? This is kind of irrelevant. I'll fix that before I put this video up. But so we have 4 more that are in the other category, and those are bleed, down smash, HP recover, and MP recover. Oh, because this one does have different durations. Okay, it made sense. So the down smash, HP recover, and MP recover don't care what tier that they're used on ever. They just have the same effect, even though all of these are the other categories they called it. The down smash activates with 15% chance on anything you put an add-on. HP is going to recover 10 HP per hit regardless of what add-on tier it's on, and MP, same idea, 20 MP recovery on it regardless of the level. Bleed is going to work a little bit differently. It has the 100 bleed damage on it for every 3 seconds no matter what, but it's going to be at 9 second, 15 second, and 27 second duration. This is really powerful in my opinion, but yeah, it's still pretty cool to see these come out. That's going to have huge PvP implications for a lot of classes, like most definitely. So anyways, that's how it's going to work moving forward, at least in the current iteration. If we have any changes to it, we'll of course get more updates applied. I've added this into the upcoming PvE damage buffs. I'll probably change the title because we're moving past just damage buffs at this point for it. I've added that in there. I also started just a revision sheet. Like for instance, Wednesday when the KR changes came out, they were different than some of the global lab values from last Friday, and people were asking, how up to date is this? Does it have the KR stats that were put in? And then we also saw a few changes with global labs other than just the add-ons. So I put the revision sheet in there so that way I do things other than make BDO spreadsheets, so I don't always get these posted like the second that new information comes out. I put these together when I have the time for it, putting them in there, and this way when you're looking at it, you'll know like, hey, I heard Suck Striker got new skills added that weren't buffed before. Does this reflect that or not? And so you're not like telling the difference. You can go to the revision page on it and you'll know that we've added in the latest information from global labs as of November 10th with those add-ons. So I'll continue putting those in as we get more and more coming out. I think that's going to be especially handy since we're going to probably continue to see tweaks between what we see on global labs on Fridays and then what KR is getting in actual released. So we're going from like, here's the application on global labs, it's not really getting tested, then it'll actually get tested on KR, and then we'll kind of adjust some things. But so far all they did is buff more damage on a few skills for Musa, Ninja, and Striker in general, and then they added, I believe it was 3 more skills for Suck Striker. Those are, of course, broken down on each of those guys' page. These are put in alphabetically, so you can see, well, so you click and move one, so you can see, you know, what's been changed so far. Over time, I'm going to clean these up as we get more non-damage updates. I haven't messed with it just yet since we don't have like a ton that have come out for most classes. So those will continue to get added to. But yeah, if you want to just continue watching that, check the revisions page, what's new, and then you can check out whatever classes you're interested in seeing. So that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to like it if you did enjoy it. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you get notifications for new videos when they do go live. And if you'd like to catch me playing live, there's a link to my Twitch page in the description down below. Jump on over there, drop a follow so you get notifications for that as well. With that said, that's going to be it for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.